What would you wish for if you could have anything? A stonecutter, tired of his hard life, wished to be powerful like the king. Magically, he became a king, but soon envied the sun for its power to scorch the earth. He became the sun, but then envied the clouds that blocked its rays. As a cloud, he was pushed around by the wind, so he wished to become the wind. But the wind could not move a mighty rock, so he wished to be the rock. Finally, as a rock, he was chipped away by a humble stonecutter. What if the power you crave isn't the answer, but finding joy in where you already are? Do you ever wonder if life is just a dream? The philosopher Zhuangzi once dreamt he was a butterfly, fluttering freely without a care in the world. When he woke, he questioned, "Am I Zhuangzi dreaming of being a butterfly, or a butterfly dreaming of being Zhuangzi?" This story reminds us that reality is as much about perception as it is about facts. Are we truly awake, or are we just living in someone else's dream? So, what if everything you believe about your life is just part of a bigger dream? Can persistence really achieve the impossible? An old man, tired of a mountain blocking his village, began digging it away one shovel at a time. People laughed and called him foolish, saying he would never finish in his lifetime. The old man replied, "Even if I die, my children and their children will keep digging." The gods, impressed by his determination, moved the mountain themselves. Sometimes it's not about finishing the task, but showing the will to start it. What mountain in your life needs moving? And what's stopping you from picking up the first shovel? Can flaws hold hidden beauty? A water carrier had two pots. One was perfect, while the other was cracked, leaking water along the way. The cracked pot felt ashamed, thinking it was useless. But one day, the water carrier revealed that flowers bloomed along the path watered by its cracks. Sometimes, what we see as flaws create unexpected beauty in the world. What if your imperfections are what make life around you blossom? Have you ever been so sure of something only to find out you were completely wrong? A man lost his axe and immediately suspected his neighbor. He watched the neighbor closely and noticed every action seemed guilty. The neighbor walked like a thief, talked like a thief, and even smiled like a thief. But later, the man found his axe buried under his own woodpile. Suddenly, the neighbor no longer looked guilty. Our minds love to turn guesses into truths, distorting reality through suspicion. Next time you suspect someone, ask yourself, am I seeing the truth or just my fear? A thief wanted to steal a large bell but worried about the noise it would make. So he covered his own ears, thinking no one else would hear the sound. The villagers, of course, heard the clanging and caught him red-handed. This story shows how self-deception blinds us to reality. What truths are you covering your ears to, hoping the world won't notice? Do you think you already know too much to learn anything new? A proud scholar once visited a Zen master, eager to show off his knowledge. The master offered him tea and began pouring into the scholar's cup. But he kept pouring until the tea overflowed and spilled everywhere. The scholar shouted, "Stop! The cup is full!" The master smiled. "Like this cup, your mind is too full. How can I teach you unless you first empty it?" Our ego can blind us to wisdom, filling us with noise instead of insight. Maybe today we should all empty our cups. What wisdom might you gain if you let go of what you think you already know? Have you ever tried to win an argument and only made things worse? An angry student stormed up to a wise man, shouting insults and demanding answers. The wise man sat quietly, not responding, until the student finally left in frustration. When asked why he didn't argue back, the wise man said, "If someone gives you a gift and you don't accept it, who does it belong to?" Anger often loses its power when met with silence. The next time someone tries to provoke you, will you take the gift or leave it behind? If you could have all the treasures in the world, would it truly make you happy? A mighty dragon guarded a glowing pearl, believing it held unimaginable power. One day, a brave traveler dared to ask, "What does the pearl do?" The dragon paused, realizing it had never used the pearl, only guarded it out of fear. The traveler smiled and said, "True treasure lies not in what you hoard, but in what you share." How often do we chase things, forgetting that our real wealth is already within us?
What if the worst thing that happened to you today turned out to be the best thing tomorrow? Once, a farmer's horse ran away, leaving him with no way to plow his fields. His neighbors said, "What bad luck!" But the farmer simply replied, "Good or bad, who can say?" Days later, the horse returned, bringing a wild stallion with it. The neighbors exclaimed, "What good fortune!" Again, the farmer calmly said, "Good or bad, who can say?" But when the farmer's son tried to tame the wild stallion, he fell and broke his leg. "Such bad luck!" cried the neighbors. Still, the farmer said, "Good or bad, who can say?" Soon the army came to recruit young men for war, but left the injured son behind. Life's twists and turns are like this.